You know that feeling when you've hit a wall in your language learning? It's that super frustrating plateau where, yeah, you know a bunch of words, but actually speaking them just feels off. Well, if that's you, you are in exactly the right place. We're about to talk about a simple two-part method to help you break right through that barrier and go from just knowing a language to truly speaking it with real confidence.
So let's just get right to it. Why does speaking a new language feel so incredibly hard sometimes? I mean, you put in the hours, you've studied the grammar, but then the moment comes to actually talk, and something just holds you back. It's a feeling pretty much every single language learner is familiar with.
And usually, that feeling comes from one of these things, right? The fear of making a mistake, that worry that you sound kind of unnatural, that hesitation or shyness that creeps in. Or, my personal favorite, when your mind just goes completely blank under pressure. It's so easy to feel like you're just stuck. If any of this is ringing a bell, trust me, you are not alone.
But there's a way forward. Here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to tackle that confidence challenge head on. Then, we'll unlock a really powerful mechanical fix called the shadowing technique. After that, we'll dive into the psychological side, the power of your mindset. Then we'll see how to actually fit this into your real life, and finally, we'll get a picture of what it really looks like to become a fluent speaker.
All right, so first things first, we have to reframe the problem. Confidence isn't something you either have or you don't. It's a skill. It's something you build, one sentence at a time. The real challenge isn't just about cramming more words into your brain. It's about building up the courage to use the ones you already know.
So how do we start building that skill? Well, we start with the mechanics. And that brings us to a technique that's designed to literally train your mouth and your ears to sync up, making your speech sound and feel way more natural. It's called shadowing. The idea behind shadowing is actually super simple. You listen to a native speaker, and you repeat what they say out loud, basically at the same time. This isn't about memorizing stuff, it's about building muscle memory. You're making the physical act of speaking more automatic, more natural.
Okay, so here's how it actually works. Step 1, you listen really carefully. And I don't just mean to the words, but to the music of the language. Step 2, you repeat it out loud. But step 3, this is the secret sauce. You try to match the rhythm, the intonation, the melody of how they're speaking. You're not just saying words, you're copying the whole vibe. This is what gets your mouth used to moving in new ways.
So that's the mechanical fix. But here's the thing. It only really works if it's powered by the right psychological fuel. And that fuel is your mindset. This is the second part of the method. And believe me, it is just as important as the first. It really is this simple. Your progress on the outside is directly tied to what you believe on the inside. If you genuinely believe you can get better, you will. But if you're always letting self-doubt hold you back, your progress is going to stall out no matter how many hours you practice. This one sentence can be a total game changer. Think of it as your new mantra. When you adopt this idea, you're giving yourself permission to make mistakes. You're shifting your goal from this impossible idea of perfection to something you can actually achieve. Progress. Just let that sink in for a second. I am here to improve, not to be perfect.
So how do you actually build this mindset? Well, you have to make a few active choices. You choose to accept that mistakes are just part of the deal. You choose to believe that your English can and will be excellent. You choose to be patient with yourself. You have to trust that all this consistent effort is going to pay off. And, most importantly, every single time you open your mouth to speak, you make a conscious choice to be confident, even if you have to fake it at first.
Okay, so now we have the technique, shadowing, and we have the mindset. But how do we make it all stick? The key is to stop thinking about it as study time and start weaving it right into the fabric of your everyday life. We need to turn it into a habit. And just think about the difference there. Study time is something you have to schedule, it can feel like a chore, and let's be honest, it's the first thing we skip when life gets busy. But when you integrate practice into your daily routines, your commute, making coffee, walking the dog, it just becomes automatic. It's something you just do, naturally. And here's what that can actually look like. You can narrate your morning routine to yourself, shadow an audiobook on your commute, practice simple phrases like asking for help at work or while you're running errands. And then at night, reflect on your day in your target language. Each one of these is just a tiny little act of practice, but when you put them all together, they add up to some serious progress. So when you combine the shadowing technique with a confident mindset, and you weave it all into your daily life, you start to build this incredible momentum. And that momentum is exactly what carries you toward that big goal. becoming the fluent, confident speaker you want to be.
And what does that future self look like? Well, it looks like having conversations that just flow. It's traveling without that constant language anxiety. It means kicking back and enjoying movies and books without constantly reaching for the subtitles. It's feeling totally confident in a professional meeting. This isn't just some fantasy. This is the real, tangible result of consistent, focused practice.
So if you only take one thing away today, please let it be this. Fluency has two keys. You need the technique, like shadowing, to train the muscles in your mouth, and you need the belief, which is powered by positive self-talk, to train your mind. One just doesn't work without the other. They go together.
Okay, so let's put this into action. Like right now. Don't wait for some perfect moment that's never going to come. Just think of one simple sentence you can say out loud today. Use this technique, channel a little bit of that confidence we talked about, and just say it. The whole journey to fluency doesn't start with some grand, complicated plan. It starts with a single, spoken sentence. So, what will yours be?